Intentions are not judged by humans, only actions are. What's up, people of this weird planet called Earth? Welcome to episode 46 of HMIH podcast. I'm your humble host, Damilare Mapa. On this episode, I'll briefly be telling you the history of an influential man from Far East in the country of Russia. His name is Peter the Great. Without wasting your time, let's go right into it. Born on June 9th, 1672, named Pyotr Alexeyevich. I'm sure I got that wrong, but I'm hoping any Russian listening to this will not take offense. He was lucky to be a very healthy child, as their family was known for various illnesses and premature death. Peter was educated from an early age by several tutors commissioned by his father. His father died in 1676, and at this point, Peter was just 4 years old. The heir to the throne was his eldest brother, Theodore III, which was not from his mother because his father had another wife. Theodore was crowned the new Tsar on June 18, 1676. Although Fyodor was far from normal health-wise, he was said to have been carried during his coronation because he even had swollen legs. 6 years later, Fyodor died without an heir to the throne, and that's where another issue of who would be the next Tsar became an issue, as Peter was 10 years old at the time, and Fyodor's brother Ivan wasn't normal too health-wise. In 1682, Russian nobles selected 10-year-old Peter to be Tsar and his mother as his regent, which is like an administrative assistant. But this was not a good idea for Theodore and Ivan's family, as they wanted Ivan, who wasn't mentally and physically fit, to be the next ruler and Tsar, and someone else as his regent. This brought an uprising which had so many violent phases that had a lot of people killed. But at the end of the day, Ivan was crowned co-Tsar with Peter and one of their sisters, Sophia, who was part of the uprising as their regent. But Sophia literally ruled as she told both Tsars what to do and say. Peter didn't really care about his position while he was young, as he detested the gruesome experience he had witnessed during the uprising. So he preferred to stay in the countryside instead of Moscow and its palace. He spent time sailing, shipbuilding, and with the military, which proved to be very, very essential and beneficial to him during his reign. In 1696, aged 24, Peter became an independent ruler after overthrowing Sophia as his regent. That woman later was forced to later become a nun. Imagine. The death of his mother, who was his next regent after Sophia, and the death of his half-brother Ivan, which was not really physically and mentally fit before. Peter started his independent rule with disruptive reforms, as he wanted to westernize/modernize Russia, because it was said that Russia was still backwards in modernization compared to other countries in Europe. Peter traveled through Europe in search of knowledge that would impact his country. He brought back and enacted reforms on military, navy, his economy, city building, and even fashion, as he also ordered Russians to cut off their beards to look more like the Westerners. This, among other drastic and sudden reforms, upset a lot of people, but Peter was bent on changing every conventional old Russian tradition. The beard cutting was later subsided, as people could keep their beards only if they paid beard-keeping taxes. Peter indeed improved the overall image of Russia and its modernization. He even built a whole new city named St. Petersburg and named it the capital of Russia. Peter, after a series of war waging with the Ottoman Empire and Sweden Empire, got the access to sea for creation of his long-dreamed navy force, which made Russia solidify their superpower status. It was after this time that Peter, on 22nd October 1721, was named Emperor of Russia, first Emperor of Russia, by the way, conquering many lands and widening the vast land of Russia, especially to the sea. At this point, Peter had succeeded in boosting Russia's image, its economy, civilization and modernization, its army, navy, and so much more. The first Russian university, St. Petersburg State University, was founded a year before his death in 1724, and the second, Moscow State University, 30 years after his death. Like everyone will, Peter died on February 8, 1725. He was said to have died from bladder problems and was buried at St. Peter and Paul Cathedral in his founded capital city, St. Petersburg. And that's it on today's episode of HMIH Podcast, guys. Thanks for listening, and I hope you learned a thing or two, or at least was entertained in the process. So please kindly follow our social media pages at Damilare Mapa on every social media, literally. See you guys in the first Saturday in August, inshallah. Damilare Mapa out.